Good evening and welcome to Metro Focus. I'm Jack Ford. Albany's Power List 100. From our nation's president and New York's first family to those looking to break into the political scene, it's a list of the most powerful people in New York State politics. Carefully crafted by the journalists at City and State, the Albany Power List 100 is designed to disclose who wields the most influence in Albany's political arena. Joining me now to talk about who's in, who's out, and why is City and State reporter Jeff Colton. Jeff, always good to have you here with us.
Thank you.
Let me ask you to start off with the procedure here. What sort of way did you use, and what metrics, if you will, did you use to determine a top 100 here?
Sure. Well, first and foremost, we've been doing this for quite a few years now. So luckily, we have last year's list to start with. We're not just, starting with the Albany phone book.
Okay.
But then once we have last year's list, we look at, who has power in Albany. I mean, obviously, because it's state government, we look at who can pass a law, who can kill a law, who controls the most money, whether that's in the budget or a pension fund, and, who's rising, who's maybe on their way out of power. And then a big thing that we always consider is, will the governor pick up your call?
I thought that was a great qualifier here.
Well, Donald Trump, #2. I mean, as much as Andrew Cuomo might not want to pick up the president's call,
he's going to pick it up.
When the White House calls, you pick it up.
All right. So let's start from the top. All right. Number one on the list.
No, Governor Andrew Cuomo.
No surprise there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, not only it's the power of the position. He's extremely powerful, but it's also the legacy. I mean, he's been in this office now for since 2011, so 7 years. He's going for re-election for another 4 years. Before that, he was Attorney General. Before that, he was the son of a governor. I mean, this guy, he has deeper ties in New York than anybody.
He has the portfolio.
And he can pretty much get anything done. He runs the state Democratic Party. He is New York power.
How about the president? Because we hear very often that even though he's a New York person, his critics will say he's not invested in New York and in helping New York and New York politics. Why does he end up so high?
Well, his critics would say he's not invested in helping. They would go farther. They would say he's hurting New York. But, when you listen to especially Governor Cuomo and Assembly Speaker Hasty talk about the budget, half of it is a response to the president. It's all, defending New York against federal policies. I mean, especially the tax policy. A big focus of the budget this year was actually insulating New Yorkers from federal tax policy. So even though Donald Trump may not think about Albany, maybe ever, he's still very influential up there.
We talk about politics, obviously, a significant factor in all this, and then we have to talk about gubernatorial politics. Cynthia Nixon gets on the list, very high up. Mm-hmm. As a candidate, how does that happen?
This is her first time on the list because of the Cynthia effect, as many people are calling it. Governor Cuomo has traditionally been more of a centrist Democrat. He's definitely passed some more liberal policies. But this year, people are noticing that he has really veered left, gone towards the more progressive side of the party. And many people are saying that's because he has a very far-left progressive challenger in Cynthia Nixon. It seems that every time Cynthia Nixon mentions something, such as legalizing marijuana, then the governor has to respond, and he's been following her along. So even if she is a long-shot candidate for governor, her influence is already being felt.
Let's talk. We mentioned Cynthia Nixon. Let's talk about women on the list. So you have 29 women on the list of 100. How does that compare to previous lists? And why do we have 29 now, do you think?
Yeah, I can't, I haven't done the math. I can't tell you that much. But, 29 women, we've had criticism of lists in the past for not having enough women, but we think it's a fair assessment of who has power in Albany, and frankly, it's mostly men. But one interesting point is actually, if you look at the governor's inner circle, it's a growing number of women. His most trusted aide these days, Melissa DeRosa, the secretary of the governor, she's a woman. His new state director of operations, Kathy Calhoun, another woman. And there's tons of them. There's the state Medicaid director, Donna Frescatori, she's a woman. His counsel and chief of staff, Linda Lacewell. In the second floor, as we call it, the governor's office, women truly hold power.
Yeah. How about surprises? What was most surprising to you in terms of either people coming off or dropping precipitously, or people coming on or rising significantly?
Mm-hmm. Well, our biggest riser this year was Mark Molinaro. He's the Dutchess County executive, which got him on the list last year at 98, very low. This year, he's blown up. I think he's number 32, 66 points up. Because he is the presumptive Republican candidate for governor.
Coming right back to the governor's race that we talked about at the very beginning. That gets you a significant placement.
Exactly. I mean, you know, Mark Molinaro, he's also a long shot for governor against Cuomo's reelection. But, you know, when you're the standard bearer for the Republican Party, that's a lot of power. So, you
have to pay attention to them. Whether you think they're going to win or not, certainly have to pay attention.
Oh, sure. Yeah, he's a rising star up there.
Right. And how about one that was surprising to you who either disappeared from the list or dropped dramatically?
Gosh, I mean, you know, most of the people that dropped on the list are people that retired or were voted out of office.
Okay.
In fact, speaking about Republican gubernatorial candidates, Rob Astorino, the 2014 Republican candidate, he lost his seat this year. He was a pretty influential standard bearer in the Republican Party statewide. He was the Westchester County executive, but voters kicked him out in November. So he's off the list completely. It's surprising to see Astorino go from political relevance to I'm not sure what he's doing these days.
Exactly. Well, you know what? It's a fascinating look inside New York politics. And again, I love the criteria that you use to come up with this list. Jeff, it's always a pleasure talking with you. You always provide us with something interesting to think about. So we'll look forward to having you back again real soon.
Thanks a lot, Jack.
You be well.